This week in history. 240 years ago, today, tomorrow, this whole week, the people of New Jersey woke up to a different world. For the past month, they had awakened to see British redcoats or German troopers, Hessians, with their tall hats and their long pigtails and their thieving manners. All of New Jersey was under the boot of the conquerors. There were alien outposts in a dozen different towns, from Hackensack in the north to Burlington in the south. Ever since the shiploads of British had arrived and landed 35,000 troops on Staten Island, that was 6 months ago, the news had been bad ever since. The great Washington had been driven out of Long Island, driven out of Manhattan, driven out of Westchester County, driven out of northern New Jersey, and finally driven out of New Jersey entirely, across the Delaware into Pennsylvania. Then, 2 weeks ago, the day after Christmas, in the middle of another blinding snowstorm, there had been a ray of hope. A handful of ragged, barefooted troops, those that they had seen pass through on their way toward the Delaware, had crossed the Delaware and returned and forced the hated Hessians out of their warm beds and out of Trenton entirely, with almost 1,000 of those hated Hessians taken prisoner. Another lot of redcoats had rushed into the colony from New York to punish Washington, but were hurt badly in their second attempt to take Trenton, and then hurt badly again at Princeton. Now the enemy was leaving the state. With first Trenton and then Princeton conquered, it was obvious that the hometown boys could take any of those dozen outposts with no trouble at all anytime they wanted to. The British were retreating. The Hessians were leaving. They retreated back to just 2 outposts, Perth Amboy and New Brunswick. The rest of New Jersey was free of the enemy. The new hero of the day, George Washington, was camped at Morristown with a rapidly growing army. A month ago, the British had owned the state. Now it was back in its proper hands. Suddenly, 1777 looked like it was going to be a great year. Little did either side know that it would be another 7 years before the battles would finally be ended. This week in history.